I think I was talking to nobody for quite a while there, and my computer didn't even tell me. So I've told you all what's happening. I've answered a few questions. I don't know if anyone's heard it. But here we are. It's 14 minutes past 7. I can't see any notifications as to whether the live can't find the live link. And there we go. So I'm here now. And technology's gotten the better of me this week. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But welcome. My name's Jacqui. We're here for the live session. I've answered a couple of questions. And I'll go back over those in the group. We've got Amber Kay tonight. She is very smart and wonderful, and she's a psychologist who's written a few great books about getting back on track after weight loss surgery. She's also co-founder of the Fresh Start program, and some of you might be familiar with that from your surgeon's offices, that it's a program that's run through different bariatric clinics as well. Lots of mindset, accessing the blocks and the roadblocks, I guess, unconsciously that you have that might be tripping you up along your way to your best possible self. I did a podcast with Amber recently, and I found so much in that that helps to cement everything that you're doing in the outside world. So the work with your surgery is internal and external. You need to really look at how you live your life and what you do with your spare time and how you plan your meals and what you put in your mouth, but you also need to look at what's going on in your mind. And so much goes on around food and relationship with food and self. And Amber's work is really quite interesting and gives you access to those roadblocks that exist that sometimes we can't see. So the new segment we'll have in the live every now and then is called the Fast Five in 5. And Amber's coming in tonight to answer 5 quick questions about her it's actually called Ending Mindless Eating. It's a program, and she's got a special offer for us. So she's going to quickly pop in and have a chat about that very shortly. So without further ado, I've got just 2 more questions I'll answer. I've got to find them. I'm having a shocker. And my mouse is all over the place. There's another question about Jan Marie, feeling a bit down, had my sleeve in May this year, has lost 17 kilograms. I think that's pretty good during a COVID period. My surgeon warned me a lot of people might not be supportive of my weight loss, and sadly this is true, as family members seem a bit bitter and have nothing nice to say or even comment about it, pretending it hasn't happened. Has anyone else had this, or am I just surrounded by negativity? It's pretty it is a hard one. I think different people look at this journey in different ways, and Glenn McIntosh and I, who is another psychologist from Weight Management Psychology, we covered all of this at the start of the COVID period. We did a 2 podcast series on relationships after weight loss surgery. One of them was about relationship with yourself, and the other was kind of managing your relationships as things may start to change or different people are more or less supportive. You can't change how they respond to you. All you can change is your response to them. So if they're negative, they're ignoring, they're outside of being rude and abusive, you can just thank them nicely for their input, and just know that it's really something to come back to, thinking and remembering why you took the step to start the journey, and was it for these people or was it for you, and just finding your truth and staying with that as well. There's some great answers in the group. It was a really good conversation, and I'm sure a lot of people have different issues with people who are in their close circles who are challenged. They're challenged. Even it's a similar thing when someone stops drinking. People are like, come on, have a drink. Why aren't you drinking? Because it's showing them that they can't stop. So they're encouraging you helps to keep everything going. Some people have connections that are formed on different habits. So you might have an amazing friendship with, you know, a group of people, but it might be founded on, you know, going out and drinking too much, or it might be founded on you know, overeating, or, you know, doing things that aren't as constructive as they could be. And then when someone changes that, it confronts everybody in some way. Some will be excited about it and they might think, oh, actually, I'd really like to do that too. Others will be too confronted, knowing, and maybe they just feel they're not, you know, it's not always about you, it's about their response to what's happening, and they might be uncomfortable. Some people also think it's easy way out, so it's also up to us to communicate, you know, just what it's like. Certainly not easy. So all I can suggest is that you do your own work. What's that book, I can't remember what it's called, where it's called, you know, the answer to everything is you do you. So you do what you're doing, and people will respond in a varying way. It's not easy when things are changing for you, and then you've got people around you who are also, you know, unsupportive or not as excited. So yeah, there's no real answer. It's just about kind of learning your way through that and working out kind of your responses to different challenging situations as well. So I hope I roughly helped. Thank you. And what else do we have here? Shelby Lee posted her first post. Thank you. Almost 3 weeks post-op, had a sleeve and is on purees. I'm having trouble understanding when I'm full. I eat small bites and slowly, but I get discomfort that comes and goes. And it's just been getting a new understanding of when I'm full. I'm so confused. Am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? And it is, I can't relate to this one because I've never gone through this stage, and the answers in the group and the support have been really amazing. But it is a total new learning curve where you might be doing something and it's like, is that painful? Is it too tight? Is it okay? And it's a real testing out of how things feel. All you can really do is definitely follow everything that your dietitian and your surgeon have instructed you to do to the letter, and you know that they're doing that because that's safe practice. So if there's anything that's going to happen, it's you know, you need to just, or if anything's uncomfortable or you're really not sure, your best place to go back to is to your dietitian and just let her know, I'm not sure, I'm doing this is when I'm doing this, and now I'm not sure if I'm full or whether I'm uncomfortable. So they'll definitely be able to help you, and everyone's individual. So it's always good in the early stages, if anything feels really foreign or you're really not sure about it, it's better to be asking too many questions than not enough. So just make sure you do that and get the support that you need. And it takes time, but also you need to get to the point where you feel comfortable that it is right and it is time, and you're building trust. But nothing should be, you know, weirdly painful and uncomfortable all the time. It's time to you know, get in touch with your team. Thank you. So moving on, I might call in Amber because she's been waiting, and I'll go back to the rest of the things we have to do after that. Here we go. You ready? So one more thing I've got to do is bring up her little question sheet. I'll be one sec. Here it is. I've got like 3 screens here for every time I do a live, just to make sure I've got all the information I need. So without further ado, I'll welcome Amber Kay. Here she comes.
Okay.
I can hear you. Now I can see you. Nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for coming along.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Starting to connect on a daily basis, the two of us, aren't we? Oops, are you there?
Oh, can you?
You're a little bit wobbly, but we'll get there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Okay. Hopefully
so
that
I've
stays.
given everyone, I don't know, you couldn't hear what I was saying prior to now, or have you heard what I've...
the meeting with anticipation.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So I've introduced you as Amber Kay, psychologist and co-author of the Get Back on Track After Weight Loss Surgery book, but also co-founder of the Fresh Start program as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I have to say, I did a psychology degree, an honors psychology degree. I'm not a psychologist, so I cannot claim to be a psychologist. So I'm a qualified coach, a mindset coach, but I cannot claim to be a psychologist. So I just want to make that clear.
To practice psychology, it's a master's degree. Is that correct? Or is there what is there in between the degree and the practicing?
So basically my understanding of, so I didn't grow up in Australia, I actually grew up in Singapore, and my understanding is that for the Australian system, you do your degree and then you do your honours, and then you can practice as a psychologist once you've gained accreditation with the relevant bodies. I did my degree, did my honours, and then I would have had to do a master's to become a clinical psychologist or a forensic psychologist or something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot more involved in everything we do these days, isn't there?
Yeah, I did my degree a very long time ago. Several decades ago. So
it's all wisdom and experience. That's what we call it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm very wise.
Getting wiser by the day.
So wise. Yeah.
Wise is a good way of putting it. And so tonight we're going to talk about this Ending Mindless Eating program. Can you walk me through what's going on there?
Yes. Have my 5 minutes started?
I'm walking through I'm meandering tonight.
You're meandering. Okay, good. Because I was like, I need to be really brief and concise.
Yeah, no, we've got time.
So the Beating Mindless Eating program is, and it could be comfort eating, it could be emotional eating, but basically it's all about understanding, firstly, what it is, what are we actually talking about and why it happens, why we do it. And basically, I think if you're human, you're doing emotional eating or that mindless automatic eating at some point, because there's a social aspect that we've grown up with. If we go to a birthday party, then there's some birthday cake and so on. Or if we go to the cinema, there might be an association with popcorn or something like that. So there's certain environments in which we probably eat when we don't necessarily need to eat for genuine nutritional reasons. And then there's other environments and other times when we eat, and again, not for genuine nutritional reasons, but for a comfort or a mindless aspect to it. And the program goes into, okay, what is it? Why do we do it? And also, how can we stop it? How can we interrupt these kind of automatic habitual behaviors? And also, how can we set ourselves up so that we're supporting those changes within, our lifestyle changes and what's going on in our environment, and how to actually replace those behaviors? Because whenever we take away a behavior, we need to kind of choose what we fill it with. Otherwise, something will fill it for us. So ideally, we want to be quite deliberate about what if we're going to take it away, what goes in its place, and let's choose that, something resourceful, something healthy that's going to move us towards where we want to go.
Absolutely. And tell me what's covered in the program, Amber.
So one of the first things we do is we actually get into the differences between that genuine kind of hunger that means our body needs nutrition, and then that sort of emotional emotional hunger, whether it's, some people call it head hunger, some people call it heart hunger. Because once we have a little bit of an awareness around telling the difference, we can actually use that to our advantage in those moments where we think we're hungry, and we can actually check in and do a little checklist and go, actually what's going on here is I'm wanting to change my emotions in some way.
So listening to yourself a little more carefully and being aware, is that what you're looking for?
That's part of it. It's also knowing what to look for as well. It's sort of like, we don't know what we don't know. And if we've had a lifetime of not listening to hunger cues or not being aware of hunger cues, then it can sometimes be a little bit of a learning experience to see whether actually maybe our body is sending us some messages and we just don't recognize what they are.
That's exactly right. And is hunger a foreign feeling in this day and age? Is it something that we are not used to or very uncomfortable with, do you think?
Yeah, I would say I would agree with the latter for sure. I think
Yeah,
there can be a real fear of feeling hungry,
I agree.
and a sense that if as soon as we get those sensations, we need to squish them, and
Mm,
that we won't be okay with a little bit of hunger. And
yes.
I think that kind of conditioning can lead to these situations where, yeah, we fear or we're uncomfortable with the sensations, and therefore we'll either maybe anticipate them and eat before we are hungry,
Mm,
or we will doubt the messages that we're getting from our body. Now, after surgery, depending on the procedure, not everyone gets those signals
yeah,
anymore.
that's true too.
So it's different for everyone, but it's
Mm,
worthwhile kind of being curious about what messages your body can give you.
mm. And over time, kind of checking in again as things, may slightly change and hunger
Absolutely.
changes. Yeah. The
Absolutely.
head hunger I hear a lot about, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a game in there, isn't it?
It is a game. And that's why, because sort of being forewarned is forearmed. So when in the program, then we look at the differences, and then we actually look at, okay, what are the triggers?
Yeah.
So when do you do it, and what sets this sort of automatic behavior off? Is it something you see? Is it something you hear? Is it something you tell yourself? So getting clear on, okay, when do I do this behavior so I can anticipate it?
Mm,
And then we drive into, or when then we dive into, what are the drivers? Why are we doing it? And that's where we get into that mindset piece of what's really going on, because emotional eating isn't about the food. And that's why often you can be eating and eating and nothing's hitting the spot, because we're trying to fill this hole, but the hole's not in our tummy. It's in our heads, it's in our hearts, it's somewhere else.
yeah.
And then we look at, okay, what are some more resourceful strategies that we can replace it with, and what are some lifestyle changes that we can put into place to
Mm.
to support that.
That's
Yeah.
an incredible part of this picture and this puzzle, I
Yeah.
think, is we can talk about food and nutrition, and that's really important. But I think until you crack this code of what's going on and why, and
Yeah.
I was saying earlier just how early on in life our relationship with food starts and who puts that information in there. And is it,
Yes.
were we placated with food? Were we
Absolutely.
encouraged with food and rewarded with food, and then how much of that is still relevant, helpful, and
Mm.
serves our purpose for the rest of our lives. So there's some
Yeah.
huge parts that need to be deconstructed in a lot of cases. Would you
Absolutely.
agree?
And yeah, absolutely. And the thing to remember as well is that these habits or associations that we've created as a child, and and it can sometimes come from that, it can come from other reasons. The behaviors are actually not trying to sabotage us. They're not trying to hurt us or harm us. They're actually behaviors we've put in place unconsciously to keep us safe or to
Mm,
serve us in some way. Because the reason why we do emotional eating is that we're using food generally to change our emotional state, to either move towards emotions we want to feel, like comfort and joy and calm and energized and so on, or to move away from emotions that are less comfortable, that we don't want to feel. So, for
mm,
example, feeling stressed or feeling sad or feeling bored or feeling overwhelmed or feeling tired or fearful or anything like that.
yeah, that sounds like 2020 in a
Oh,
nutshell.
well, this is why we,
Yeah.
generally emotional eating is probably the number one challenge for our clients who've all had weight loss surgery.
Mm,
And I would say pretty much everyone will have been doing it at some point, if that is their strategy, or their main
yeah.
strategy to manage their emotions. And that's also part of the challenge, is because a lot of people think they just need to be more disciplined, or
Mm,
they need to have more motivation, or it means the old habits are coming back from the past. And actually, we need to be kinder to ourselves and more compassionate, because usually when we're hooked into an emotional eating strategy, it's because we don't have any other strategies to choose from. We're so
mm,
used to doing that strategy to manage our emotions, and we don't have any other choice. So how could we do something different until we get clear on what's really going on. And, what are those emotional drivers? What needs am I meeting? Oh, okay, I'm actually trying to get some certainty because the world is really uncertain at the moment. So I'm getting some certainty. I'm giving myself some comfort. Or, life is really busy, homeschooling kids, working, so on, looking for jobs, whatever it is. And so when I eat emotionally, it might be the only time in the day that I have something for me, or that I give myself something, or some time, or some care, or some love. Or it could be that I procrastinating because I don't want to do something, and I'm scared, and I'm worried about what will happen. So I think, oh, I'll just buy myself some time by eating something. So we're using it to meet our needs, and it's serving us in some way. And the only reason it's become automatic is because we've done it so many times. And it's
true. So it's an ingrained process that we need to crack.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really fascinating stuff. I love it.
Yeah, I can see that. And your world of wisdom and knowledge is overflowing there.
Thank you.
What's one tip you can give us right now?
Depends how much time I have. How much time do we have?
A couple of minutes.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. So I'll give maybe a couple. So going back to what I was saying about the difference between genuine physical hunger and emotional hunger. One thing you can do is to do what I call the apple test or the broccoli test, and whereby you basically pick a food that you'd be happy to eat. Do you know this test?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it worth me repeating, or should I do a different tip?
No, I've never talked about it. So it's, just personally, it's like, you go ahead with it. It's a great idea.
So basically I do this myself. So for me, it's a broccoli test, because if I'm hungry, broccoli's not my favorite food, but if I'm genuinely hungry, some steamed broccoli with some salt, bit of butter, I'm in.
Pretty nice.
Awesome. If I'm feeling emotionally hungry, if I'm prowling the kitchen or the fridge or something, looking for something to change my emotions because I want to procrastinate, or because I'm feeling a bit tired, or I want to give myself some love, or whatever it is, I'll ask myself, would I eat some broccoli right now? Because when I'm in that mood, and when I'm looking for that's my goal. Broccoli will not cut it. Broccoli will definitely not cut it. So I asked myself, would I eat some broccoli? Would I eat some steamed buttered broccoli right now? And if the answer is no, then I know that I'm not genuinely hungry.
Shut the fridge,
move away, go get some
back
fresh
away
air. Take a breath. With myself.
That's a good strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I do. I love it because it's really simple, and it just enables you to kind of just take a pause and just go, okay, I know what's going on here. And when we go from bringing those sort of automatic unconscious behaviors into our consciousness, then we can have some more choice about what we do next. And that's also what we go into.
Pause, isn't it? Like mindfulness is that pause and creating that small gap where we can go, hang on, I've seen this before and I usually do this, and that's not good. And so what do I do? So it's, implementing strategies. And it sounds like, I think I was talking to Natasha Andriades on Sunday, another podcast, and she's a fertility endocrinologist. She helps with IVF and sees a lot of bariatric patients. And she said, I haven't seen anyone this year who's losing weight if they haven't had weight loss surgery. There's more people coming in who've adding weight because of everything that's going on. So these kind of strategies and programs, I think, while now we're all hooked up, technologically savvy, great opportunity to just really, work out what we need to do and find another way of accessing what's tripping us up along the way.
Absolutely.
And you had two strategies you were going to share. I'm going to steal both of
selective.
those.
I'm going to so I'll give you another two, because so one way to interrupt yourself, humans will do more to move away from pain than we will to move towards pleasure. So one way to basically just interrupt yourself so that you can actually bring yourself into awareness is to wear one of those really thick elastic bands on your wrist and give yourself a really painful thwack when you notice you're doing the behavior, even at any stage when you become aware. So it might be when you're already eaten the unnecessary food, or it might be as you're about to eat the food, or that you're looking for it. But giving yourself that painful thwack, the more often you do it, you're creating an association of pain. So your unconscious mind goes, I don't want to do this. This hurts, this behavior. And the other tip, which is more of a mindset awareness piece, is that it can be really valuable to ask yourself, how is eating emotionally, how is eating unnecessarily serving me? What's it giving me? And just letting that kind of drop down into our awareness of what am I getting out of this behavior? Because I'm getting something, otherwise I wouldn't repeat it.
Correct.
And then you get that gold, which says, oh, actually, I'm doing it to sabotage myself, because I'm actually really, really scared that I won't achieve my goal, and I'd rather sabotage myself than risk missing out.
That's a
or
good point.
I'm doing it because, like those reasons, I'm doing it because when I sit down and I have the chocolate, or I have the cookies or the chips or the lollies, it's the one gift I give myself in the day. The rest of the day is about everyone else, and that's my time, or that's
Correct.
the time that I say, well done me, I got through this day, or whatever it is.
It's an achievement. And I see that in our community too. A lot of people who are in our community have that tendency to put everybody first.
Oh, absolutely.
So changing that whole idea is a big one, but also changing that idea around eating habits and that sort of stuff, and doing something for you or other things that fill your cup. And they do say, you can't take something out that doesn't give you a similar level of satisfaction or pleasure. It's just scouring around and finding those things that float your boat.
Absolutely.
Outside of food.
Absolutely. And the more that we can care for ourselves, the less we'll see these behaviors as well. And that's what it always comes down to, is this self-care, self-love, which can be a real challenge. And that's kind of a whole different conversation. And that's something that I'm working on, creating a coaching program around that specifically. So because when giving is the challenge, but it's also the superpower. It's your superpower. So then it's about, okay, let's turn the superpower around and include myself in that picture, in that sort of that list of priorities, where I am also my number one priority.
And then it's like your oxygen mask, isn't it? Put that on you first, and then you've got enough left for everybody else.
Absolutely.
So you've got a bit of a deal that you've struck up for us.
We've got a deal.
Tell me about that.
So for the Beating Mindless Eating program, we want to gift at a discount to all of your listeners and subscribers. So it's usually a $97 program, and that includes videos and visualizations and hypnoses and all sorts of things, basically to help with the programming and also the surface level strategies as well, in terms of the being and the doing.
Wow.
And we are making that available for $27 for the whole program.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Oh, look, we just want to help as many people as possible. We can see that so many people are struggling even more in 2020. And this is the go-to strategy for so many people. And then we were talking in the podcast that we did about the Get Back on Track program, and that's available as well. So that's usually $320, and we're making it available for $97 to
that's wonderful.
Special tribe.
Our lucky little BN listeners. And we'll share that in all sorts of platforms as well. So wherever anyone is, they'll gain access to that. There'll also be a link in our store where people can go and pick that up. And I'll get onto that first thing in the morning, so it'll be ready. It doesn't take too long. And so then everyone can, I think it's a really huge part, is getting to the seat of what's happening, and then those external world strategies are then easier to implement, and less reliance on this need for willpower, especially in a time like this. I think where our willpower is being dragged and pushed and pulled. So to clear the way and access what you're offering to change mindset and look at those blocks just makes life flow so much more easily when there's stress around as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so right. Like, relying on willpower only will get us so far. And often the willpower runs out before we start to see the results, even though we're putting all the effort in, we're doing all the right things. And so then we go, oh, this isn't working. And then we end up back where we started.
Thank you. That's I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's progress on that one. And our podcast, I'm sure I need to check on the scheduling of that one, but the podcast we did just the other week is almost ready and will be on the Australian Weight Loss Surgery podcast website in a few moments, I'm sure. All my little busy beavers in the background doing all our tech stuff. Yeah. I saw it was everything's in place and the recording was just being edited. But that's a really good one. Yeah, and I'll we'll share that in our newsletter and all through the social platforms as well. So it's definitely one not to miss. But yeah, accessing mindset. Well, thank you so much for coming along.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much. Catch you soon. Thanks, Amber. Bye. There we go. Amber K. Please don't miss out on those programs. We'll pop them on the website really shortly. And we'll also share the links to those in our group and on the BN multi-page. So I think I've taken enough of your time and I will exit for the week, and we'll post winners of Transformation Tuesday in the group later on. Catch you next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Have a wonderful week.